In the dark and secret corners of royal history, there exists a photograph that was never meant to be seen, a single image that reveals the most shocking truth about Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth's marriage. This isn't just any photograph. It holds a secret so explosive, so unbelievable, that it could have torn apart the British monarchy forever. The world has always believed it knows the royal family's story, a fairy tale of tradition, duty, and unwavering loyalty. But the reality behind Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth's relationship is far more complex, far more revolutionary than anyone could ever imagine. The truth about their marriage challenges everything we thought we knew about love, loyalty, and duty. It's a love story that redefines everything you ever thought about royal unions. What's the real story? The shocking truth that was hidden for decades is so much more than a royal tale. It's a love story that redefined royal marriage in the most unexpected way possible. For years, the British royal family has been seen as the epitome of tradition and duty, a beacon of loyalty and responsibility. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip especially have been viewed as the ultimate power couple, the ideal of marital devotion. Their marriage has been the cornerstone of the monarchy's image, with the world watching as they navigated the complex responsibilities of royal life. But what if everything we've been told about their relationship is not the full story? What if there was something far more complicated going on behind the scenes? While the royal family has always maintained an image of perfect unity, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth's marriage was anything but simple. There was a time in their lives when their love story took an unexpected turn, a moment that would shake the foundation of their relationship and the entire monarchy forever. It wasn't a public scandal or a royal divorce. Instead, it was a quiet, personal decision that could have been misunderstood by the world. But in reality, it was a decision that made their bond stronger than ever. What if the decision to live apart later in their marriage wasn't a sign of a relationship falling apart? What if it was actually a groundbreaking act of love, of independence, and of mutual respect? What if Prince Philip's choice to retire from royal duties and live in a more peaceful personal setting was not an act of rebellion, but an act of profound understanding between him and Queen Elizabeth? This unexpected shift in their relationship could have been seen as a breaking point for their marriage, but instead, it turned out to be the very thing that strengthened their bond. This is the real story of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth's marriage, a partnership built not just on tradition, but on personal growth, respect, and the radical idea that love doesn't always mean being together 24/7. This is the untold truth of how their love story changed the royal family, and how it can change the way we think about relationships in the modern world. To understand the incredible bond that developed between Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, we need to take a closer look at how their relationship started. This wasn't a classic fairy tale love story, nor was it a grand romantic beginning. Instead, their relationship started with an unlikely, almost casual meeting, a meeting that no one could have predicted would lead to one of the most significant royal marriages in history. In 1934, at a family wedding, Princess Elizabeth, who was just 8 years old at the time, first laid eyes on Philip, a young 18-year-old naval cadet. He wasn't a typical young man from a royal family. Philip was different. His life wasn't confined to palace walls. He had been born into Greek and Danish royalty, but he was essentially stateless. His family had been displaced, forced to live between countries and navigate the complexities of exile and uncertainty. For much of his early life, Philip didn't fit neatly into the aristocratic mold. He had a deep sense of independence and a practical mindset, shaped by a life full of challenges. Where others in the royal family saw Philip as just another outsider, Elizabeth saw something different in him. He wasn't just another privileged royal, he was someone who had experienced hardship and had learned to be resilient in a way that no one else in the royal family had. Philip was not your typical prince. He was outspoken, bold, and charismatic, with a natural charm that caught Elizabeth's attention. Their early interactions were based on letters and quiet conversations. As Princess Elizabeth grew older, their bond deepened. By the time Elizabeth was 13 and Philip was 18, the connection between them had blossomed into something more. Elizabeth saw in Philip not just a handsome young man, but a partner who would challenge her in all the best ways. Their connection was something that would later grow into a deep, unshakable love, a love that would redefine what it meant to be a royal couple. The world would soon see Philip as a future consort for the Queen, but it wasn't an easy road for him. His background, his Greek and Danish royal lineage, and the uncertainty of his upbringing made him a controversial figure in the eyes of the royal establishment. But despite all the scrutiny, Elizabeth remained steadfast in her admiration and love for him. She saw in Philip not just a husband, but someone who would bring something new to the monarchy. In 1947, when Philip proposed to Elizabeth, it wasn't just a union of two royal families, it was a union that challenged the very foundation of royal tradition. Philip's decision to marry Elizabeth meant sacrificing his promising naval career. He would be giving up his identity as a man of action and stepping into a role that was not clearly defined, that of the Queen's consort. The sacrifice he made in choosing this life was immense, but it was also a radical act of love. It was a decision that would set the stage for a partnership that would go beyond anything the royal family had seen before. Their marriage was built on mutual respect and understanding. Philip didn't just marry Elizabeth to become a part of the royal family. He married her because he truly believed in her, in the monarchy and in the work they would do together. It was a partnership of equals, despite the roles they would play in public. And as history would show, their love for one another would be tested in ways no one could have anticipated. The real test of Prince Philip's dedication and strength came in 1952, when Elizabeth unexpectedly became queen at just 25 years old. At the time of her ascension, Elizabeth had only recently married Philip. Their marriage, though deeply rooted in love, was about to face an unprecedented challenge. While Elizabeth's role as monarch elevated her status to one of the most powerful women in the world, Philip found himself in a situation he had never expected. He was no longer the man in charge. Instead, he was the consort, a role that at the time was not well defined. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to go from a life of independence and leadership to suddenly walking 2 steps behind your wife. For Philip, a man of action and leadership, the psychological challenge of adjusting to this new role was immense. He was no longer in charge of his own life and career. He was required to support Elizabeth, to walk in her shadow as she took on the responsibilities of ruling a nation. And that role was not just difficult for him. It was in many ways a blow to his identity as a man. Philip struggled with this shift. He was a man who had been trained to lead, to command, to make decisions. But now, he was being asked to take a back seat. This was especially difficult in an era when it was still uncommon for a woman to be the central figure in a marriage, especially in the royal family. For many men in the monarchy, their identity was tied to their role as a leader. But for Philip, his masculinity and sense of self were being tested in ways he hadn't anticipated. Despite these challenges, however, Philip never wavered in his support for Elizabeth. His loyalty to her and his devotion to the monarchy were unwavering. He may have struggled with his new role, but he accepted it with dignity and grace. It was this support, this unshakable commitment to his wife, that would be a defining feature of their relationship for the rest of their lives. The pressures of royal life took their toll on Philip, but it also brought them closer together. He may have struggled with his position in the monarchy, but he always understood that his role was to support Elizabeth in any way he could. And while their relationship faced difficulties, they always remained united in their love for each other. Despite the challenges, Prince Philip was never content to simply accept the traditional role of consort. He had a vision for the future of the monarchy, and he wasn't afraid to push for changes. Prince Philip's revolutionary ideas helped shape the monarchy into something that was more connected to the people, more modern, and more relevant to the times. One of his most significant contributions was his push for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II to be televised. At the time, this was a groundbreaking decision. The royal family had always maintained an air of mystery and separation from the public. But Philip understood the importance of engaging with the people. He believed that the monarchy should not remain a distant institution, locked away from the public eye. He saw the value in making the royal family more accessible, and his decision to allow the coronation to be televised was a bold step in that direction. Philip didn't stop there. He also championed causes that made the royal family more approachable. He was the first royal to give a television interview, breaking down the barriers between the monarchy and the public. He was instrumental in inviting cameras into the royal residences, offering the world a glimpse into the private lives of the royal family. His push for these changes was revolutionary, challenging centuries of tradition and setting the stage for a more open and transparent royal family. Philip's vision for a more modern monarchy didn't always sit well with the traditionalists within the royal family, but his contributions were undeniable. His ideas were ahead of their time, and they helped shape the monarchy for a new era. He was not just a consort, he was a partner in redefining the royal family's role in the world. By the time Prince Philip retired from public life in 2017, after over 70 years of marriage, he had redefined what it meant to be a royal consort. His decision to live apart from Queen Elizabeth wasn't a sign of a troubled marriage, it was an expression of their deep respect and understanding for each other. Prince Philip's retirement was a revolutionary act, one that proved that true love isn't about constant proximity, but about the ability to give each other space while remaining emotionally connected. Prince Philip's legacy is one of change, loyalty, and love. He may have faced challenges in his role as consort, but he faced them with grace and strength. His partnership with Queen Elizabeth was one that changed the course of royal history, proving that love isn't just about grand gestures, it's about understanding, respect, and the willingness to grow together. Their story isn't just a royal romance, it's a blueprint for modern relationships, one that challenges us to rethink how we view love, independence, and partnership. So the next time you think of the royal family, remember this: Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth's marriage wasn't just a symbol of royal tradition, it was a partnership that redefined the very idea of love and commitment. And it's a reminder that sometimes, the most revolutionary acts of love are the ones we never see coming.